I think we have to have a common sense approach to returning to school. The first thing parents will want to know is, are their kids doing okay emotionally? It's been a very disruptive, weird time for kids, and so we need to make sure that their well-being is being looked after first of all. Then the next thing we need to look at is whether some kids have really fallen behind during this period of distance education. So we do need teachers to have time one-on-one with kids. We need to have some form of assessment to make sure that kids have learnt all of the things that they need to learn by a particular age. And if some children have missed out on some of those building blocks, we need to really focus in so that they've got the basics under their belt. This is so true, particularly for the youngest kids. We know that if children fall behind by the age of 8, they never really catch up in their schooling, or it's much more difficult to catch up. So we do need some form of testing that teachers can do individually with students or with their classroom. We don't want to pressure kids anymore because it's been such a highly disruptive time, but we need that information to make sure that no one is left behind, that no one has missed out on building blocks that will make it harder for them to learn in the future.
When would you do that? If you were to do these catch-up sessions, would it be after school hours? Because I imagine, during school hours, it would be quite difficult to have one-on-one time with every student.
And this is the reason we've said that if the Federal Education Minister is really interested in helping disadvantaged kids catch up in this time, so he's talked a lot about how some children will be educationally disadvantaged by distance education, we should give schools the extra resources so that teachers do have one-on-one time. So if that means putting on more casuals, if it means more teachers' aides or education assistants, for this time, while we're helping, kids make sure that they're caught up and haven't missed out on anything, then I think it would be great if the federal government actually helped with that.
Are there enough teachers to do that, though?
Oh, yeah. I think there definitely are enough teachers if we're prepared to put the money into hiring casuals or having extra teachers in classrooms so that the classroom teacher who knows the child really well can actually have a little bit of time to do that one-on-one catch-up, make sure that the child hasn't lost ground in the weeks that they've been doing distance education.
I just want to get your thoughts on this report out of Central Queensland that 1 in 5 jobs at Central Queensland University are at risk. This is basically following the collapse of the number of international students that it takes. I guess more of a problem for them is that it's in a regional centre and jobs will be hard to come by in regional centres going ahead. But is this the start of things to come when it comes to universities, in your opinion?
It really is, and I think the number of jobs lost from Rockhampton, for example, is 600. We've seen the same in Geelong, hundreds of jobs lost in Geelong, in the outer suburbs of Melbourne, with some of the suburban campuses of universities. It's happening now, and the reason is that universities have been specifically excluded from getting JobKeeper support for their staff. So I can't understand it. If you're a uni student and you've been working a shift a week in a bakery or something, you'll get the full $1,500 a fortnight JobKeeper payment. So you might have only been earning $100 a week. You'll get $1,500 a fortnight JobKeeper. But someone who works at a university, so a tutor with 3 kids at home and a mortgage to pay, doesn't get the same support, or a security guard or a librarian or an admin person at the university. And it's so serious, Pete, that the university union has actually recommended to its staff that they take up to a 15% pay cut to keep other staff employed. It shows you how seriously the staff are taking this. The universities have estimated that they'll lose 21,000 jobs over the next 6 months or so because the government refuses to allow the universities to get access to JobKeeper payments. It makes no sense at all. We're going to need those people to rebuild after this crisis. We're going to need our universities to be doing research, not just on a vaccine and treatment for COVID-19, but a whole range of other things to help our economy pick up. You think about the things that we have invented and discovered in our universities. all that funding's gone. All that funding's gone.
How concerned are you about, these trade tensions that are taking place at the moment between Australia and China, particularly when it comes to education, one of the biggest sectors that are helping our economy here? Do you fear a huge blowback when it comes to international students into our universities?
Look, of course I'm worried about the international student situation. It is a huge export earner for us, you're quite right. It's almost $40 billion a year added to our economy before COVID-19 by international students coming here. And it's not just the money they pay to universities. I mean, when they're here, they're renting a house from someone, they're going to local cafes and restaurants, they're putting money into the local economy, and that's a good thing for Australia. It's also good for us, it's good for our diplomacy. I've met leaders right across our region who studied in Australia who've got fond memories of their time in Australia. It's actually a really good thing. And we're looking forward to welcoming those students back when they can safely travel to Australia, and we've got those arrangements back in place. But it is important to make sure that we've got a number of countries that we're targeting to invite students from a broader range of countries, because any sort of economic hit, it could have been a virus like this, it could have been any number of reasons. If one country isn't able to send students for some time, we don't want the whole sector to fall over because of that.
With these trade tensions that are in place, though, do you have any concerns that China might stop its students from coming here?
Oh, well, I would hope not, because it's a very good quality education and it's good for Australia and it's good for China to have the links there. But what I would say is it's probably helpful if we heard a bit more from the Foreign Minister and a bit less from the Liberal Party backbenchers, who seem to be, just firing off any old comments anytime they like.